Namaste. This is a simple practice to help you keep your joints mobile, to enhance circulation, to give your body a massage through your active movements. Please remember to not force, to do only what you can do comfortably, and to enjoy the practice with a smile. I hope that you enjoy it. This is a reminder that even though we might not be physically in the same space, we are connected deeply. Namaste. Start lying down on your back, taking a moment to just feel your body, to notice the sensations without adding any comments, without adding a narration. For instance, notice if it feels like one side of your pelvis may be closer to the floor than the other, or if one shoulder blade may be somehow closer or more grounded than the other. Just feel the sensations. Perhaps consider recognizing the fact that you are alive, that this day was not guaranteed for anybody. You are alive. Maybe that is a good reason to give thanks. Notice how it feels inside of you when you bring a gentle smile to your face. Pay attention to the rhythm of your natural breath. Just notice your body inhaling and exhaling at its own pace. Most likely, your body is breathing with a lot of efficiency, with very little to no effort. If possible, try to breathe through your nose and then start bending one knee, bringing the sole of that foot to the floor, and then the other knee bending. Notice how that simple action may cause a change in your pelvis. Try to feel your pelvis, torso as balanced on the floor as possible. Rest the palm of one hand on your belly and the palm of your other hand on your ribcage. Continue breathing through your nose for both inhalation and exhalation, and try to expand your belly as you breathe in, and gently contracting your belly as you breathe out. Try that a few times. Nothing is forced. Notice if the movements in your abdominal area include movements in your lower back as well. Notice if the movements of your breath can act as a way to massage this lower back and abdominal area. Keep a soft smile on your face. And then notice what you do and how it feels to try to shift your breath so that the movement is happening mostly in your rib cage and not so much in your belly. Your belly remains relaxed. There is no agitation, no gasping. Your breath is smooth and as effortless as possible. It may or may not feel very different to breathe with movement in your ribcage from the way it felt to breathe with movement in your belly. And interlace your fingers, rest the back of your head on the palms of your hands. Keep your shoulders and arms relaxed. And notice if this position is useful to notice that the tops of your lungs come to the level of your collarbones, your shoulder blades, and your armpits. As you are breathing, is it possible to create a little bit of movement in those areas as you inhale and exhale? It may be difficult to feel movement at all in these areas, but be curious about trying to feel some gentle movement as you inhale and exhale. As you pay close attention to the subtle aspects of your breathing, you are inviting your mind to pay attention internally so that you're not distracted by external sounds and noises by other times and places. Consider if it may be possible to breathe with a little bit of movement in the belly, a little bit of movement in the rib cage, a little bit of movement in the upper torso. And notice how it feels best for you to exhale. Keep your breath smooth, enjoyable. Find a way of breathing that works best for you. Release the arms to be on the floor by the sides of your torso. Your shoulders remain relaxed. And then bring one thigh toward your ribcage. Keep your arms on the floor. We'll start a series of movements to warm up, massage, condition, and enhance circulation in all the joints. We'll start with the joints in the legs. Lift your leg up as best as it is possible. Keep the other foot on the floor. And then try to spread your toes and bring the toes closer together. Try to do that a few times with ease. Notice how you are breathing, to what extent it is possible to feel sensations in every single toe. Then keep your toes gently spreading, and then try to point your toes up toward the ceiling and down toward your chest. As you're doing this movement, notice that this movement is happening at your ankle joint. Don't force, make the movement slow and deliberate. When the sole of your foot is parallel to the ceiling, pause. Turn the sole of the foot over to one side and to the other side. Notice the difference in amount of movement in one direction and the other. Then pause at center and start circling your foot. So the movement is happening at your ankle. Notice that the muscles in your lower leg are contributing to the movement. Change the size of the circle as best as you can, keeping the movement slow enough to help you feel clearly all the sensations. Pause, keep your smile going the other direction. Make the movement as easy and enjoyable as possible. And then pause. Now we'll start flexing the knee, bringing the heel toward your sit bone, and then straighten the knee. So now we're trying to warm up, condition, and massage our knee through our movements. Keep smooth, continuous, easy breath. Notice how the muscles in the front are lengthening when you flex. Notice how those muscles are engaging a little bit as you straighten. Notice what is happening in the muscles in the back of your leg. And this next time, as you bend your knee, pause. Lower the sole of your foot to the floor. Compare sensations between your right side and your left side. And then, keeping your arms on the floor, bring the other thigh in the direction of your ribcage. Slowly lift that leg up and start spreading your toes, bringing the toes closer together, spreading the toes closer together. Try this a few times. Feeling, notice the sensations in all the toes. Try to make this as clear and easy as possible. Then pause, point the toes toward the ceiling and toward your chest. Try this a few times. Now the movement is at your ankle. Notice the sensations. The movement is at the ankle. Notice how the muscles in your leg are helping. Now, pause when the sole of your foot is parallel to the ceiling. Turn the sole of the foot over to one side and the other. So the movement is happening still at the ankle, not at the knee. Make this easy. Comparing how much movement there is in one direction and the other. And then pause. Start circling your foot as clearly as possible. As if you're trying to make each circle slightly different from the previous one. The movement is slow to help you feel the sensations clearly so that there is nothing forced, nothing pinched or squashed. Go in the other direction. Try to feel. Notice the differences. And then when you are ready, pause. Bend your knee, bringing your heel toward your sit bone, and lift the leg up. Again, notice how this movement feels as you are flexing and extending your knee. Trying to make the movement clear, easy, only doing what you can control comfortably. Notice that the movement doesn't happen from momentum. It's a clear, simple, mild muscular action that is taking place. When you are ready, as your knee bends, bring your foot to the floor. Compare sensations. And when you are ready, keeping your arms on the floor, bring one thigh toward your ribcage, straighten the other leg toward the floor. Now the movements will happen at the hip joint area. So you'll start by keeping your knee flexed and just moving your flexed knee away from your ribcage and toward the ribcage. The knee moves in space, but the articulation is happening at your hip. Notice how this feels. Notice what is happening at the back of the hip, the front of the hip joint. Even making the movement as easeful as it can be. Now, pause when your knees pointed toward the ceiling. Feel both sides of your pelvis in contact with the floor. Keep that in order to make this about the hip. So when you are ready, open that flexed knee over to one side. Keep both sides of the pelvis on the floor. Bring the knee to center and across. Keep the back of the pelvis still in contact with the floor. Try to notice the sensations as you are moving. Notice what is happening on the outer hip and thigh when you move over in one direction and over in the other. Same, notice what is happening on the inner thigh. Still breathing comfortably, gentle smile. Notice what you're asking your hip to do. No pinching, no squashing, nothing forced. Then when your knee comes to center, pause and slowly start the circle. But make sure that you include tiny circles so that we're really trying to massage and condition and release tension throughout the whole hip joint. Feel, not in a hurry, instead, as slowly as possible so that you can clearly notice how it feels to move this hip. And pause. If you're in large circles, you can reverse and gradually change the size of the circle. In, breathing, trying to keep your movement as, and then after you do the tiniest circle possible, lower the sole of the foot to the floor and bend the other knee. Once again, compare sensations. Feel if there are any differences between right hip, left hip. Then when you are ready, with arms still on the floor, bring the other thigh toward your ribcage, straightening the opposite leg to the floor. Here, keep your knee flexed and move the thigh away from your ribcage and toward your ribcage. Notice what it takes to make the movement slow and smooth. Notice any sensations. Make sure that nothing feels forced. Nothing is strained. When your knee is at center, pointed to the ceiling, pause. Keep your pelvis with both sides on the floor as you open the thigh away from center, and you bring the knee towards center and across. Both sides of the pelvis remain on the floor as you do that, side to side. Notice if it helps to press down a little bit on the floor with the leg that is on the floor. Trying to make this movement as clear and smooth as it can be. So trying to enhance circulation in this area. And when you are ready, return to center. Keep your knee gently flexed and try to draw the tiniest circles possible with this flexed knee, gradually changing the size of the circle every time. Slowly. Breathing with ease. Ensuring that the movement is fluid, smooth, nothing is pinched, nothing is forced, nothing is over contracted either. And then at some point, pause and reverse the direction of the movement, trying to include as many different size circles as possible so that we are really trying to condition and massage all the different muscles and fibers and tissues in this area. Often we tend to ignore smaller movements, so make sure that you are attending to all of them. Then pause. Lower the sole of the foot to the floor and the other knee. Take a moment here. Notice the sensations. So we have moved all the joints from the hips to the toes. Notice if there feels like there is a little bit more alignment in the hips and the legs. Now, when you are ready, bring your arms up. And there, notice If your shoulders are sliding up toward the ears, try to press with your armpits toward your hips, toward your knees, so that your shoulders feel relaxed. From here, we'll start spreading the fingers and closing the hands into fists. Notice how this feels, making the movement smooth and easy. It may feel different, this movement on one's hand than the other. And when you are ready and your fingers are spreading, pause. Turn the palms of the hands to face the same direction as the crown of your head. Try to bring the palms of the hands parallel to the floor and up toward the ceiling. Try this a few times so we're shifting the movement from the fingers to the wrists, only doing what is possible. And the next time your fingertips are pointing up, check that your shoulders didn't get tense. Close your hands into gentle fists and be curious about the different size circles available at the wrists. Gradually changing the size of the movement, but keeping the movement slow, deliberate, conscious. Notice how, just as with the leg, the forearm muscles are contributing to create this movement. Pause and reverse the direction of your circles. Your shoulders remain relaxed throughout this movement. Feeling. And then pause. Spread your fingers. Turn the palms of the hands to face toward the same direction as the crown of your head. And then as you're ready, bend your elbows. Fingertips come to touch the tops of your shoulders. Then lift the arms up. So we're flexing and extending at the elbow. Trying to make this movement as smooth as possible. Very fluid. Easy. Notice how it is possible to do this movement without creating tension in your shoulders. Make sure that you're not holding your breath, that you're breathing continuously. Optional but strongly encouraged to keep a smile on your face. Make this enjoyable. The next time you bend your elbows, try to point your elbows a little bit more in the direction of your knees so that you are decreasing the angle between your ribcage and your upper arm bone. At this angle, try to bring your elbows toward each other and away from each other. Now your elbows are moving through space, and the movement is happening from the articulation in the collarbones, shoulder blades, and arm bone in your shoulders. So notice how all of these parts move as you bring the elbows together and apart. Notice if it makes sense to coordinate your movements with your breath. And then pause when your elbows are pointed towards center a little bit. Try to move the elbows to point up toward the ceiling so that you're increasing a little bit the angle between your arm bone and the ribcage. At this angle, notice if it feels different to try to bring the elbows toward each other and away from each other. Notice if it is possible to feel the movement of your shoulder blades and collarbones as well as the arms. Nice, easeful breath. Remember, we're trying to condition, enhance movement, release tension, and enhance circulation. When your elbows are pointed up toward the ceiling this time, pause and move your elbows to point back so that you're increasing again the angle between ribcage and upper arm bone. And here, be curious to notice how the sensations may be different as your elbows try to move toward each other and away from each other. It doesn't really matter that much if the elbows touch or not. It may not even be possible for some of us. You're just trying to get your arms to move to enhance the mobility in your shoulders without creating new tension. Keep the movements as smooth as they can be, and when you are ready, pause midway through the movement, point the elbows up toward the ceiling, check that your shoulders are relaxed, not tense, and slowly tiny circles with your elbows. Change the size of the circle each time. In addition to ensuring that you are massaging your all the different muscles, this is a good way to invite your attention to stay with your actions, widening the circles gradually, each circle a little bit different from the previous one. There is no agitation, nothing feels forced. And then at some point, reverse the direction of the movement. It's like you're curious to notice how smooth these movements can be and how you can change the size of the movement every time. Easy breath, easy movement, making tiny movements as well. And then pause. Release your arms. Relax for a moment. Take a nice long breath. So we have moved the joints from the shoulders to the fingertips, the hips to the tips of our toes. Now we will pay attention to the joints along your spine. We'll start with the neck, the cervical spine. Here we'll try to round the back of the neck gently toward the floor and arch the back of the neck gently away from the floor. It's never about doing the most. It's about doing what you can do comfortably. Rounding and arching the back of the neck, even when your intention is to do the same movement again and again, by moving comfortably and slowly, the movement might change. How much movement is available might change. Notice if your head is moving evenly. Then pause when you feel that your head is at a place where it makes your spine, your cervical spine, your neck neutral. Here, try to turn your head over to one side and notice what this asks of the muscles in your neck. Make the movement slow and smooth. Go over to the other side and compare sensations and range of movement from one side to the other, making this as enjoyable as it can be. Nothing is forced. Releasing tension from the neck area through your movement. enhancing circulation. Then pause when you are at center. Now we'll try, maybe with the elbows out to the sides. Now we'll try a little bit of movement in the rib cage. So press down with your front ribs toward the floor to round the mid rib cage, upper back. So we're trying to move the thoracic spine, the spine that is along the rib cage. Then try to gently arch the rib cage away from the floor. Try to arch and round a few times. Notice how this feels. Notice that this may be asking your neck to move. You can either allow your neck to move with this movement of the rib cage, or you can choose to press gently down with the back of the head so that you can concentrate the movement mostly in the rib cage area. If you press down with your pelvis, you might contribute to make the movement mostly about the rib cage. But it is possible to allow the neck and the pelvis to move as you're arching and rounding your rib cage. Your choice. And when you are ready, pause. Maybe with your arms all the way up. Press with your armpits in the direction of your hips. And there, with the arms lifted this way, let's try the same movement. Rounding the rib cage toward the floor, arching the rib cage away from the floor. So notice that your rib cage is moving between your shoulder blades. Make the movement easeful. You might notice different sensations on the left and right sides. You may feel exactly the same on both sides, but pay attention to the sensations. Notice if it is easier to breathe in one of these movements and out for the other movement. Trying to reduce tension. Make this as easeful as it can be. And then pause. Feel your rib cage neutral. Notice that your shoulders are not tense. Interlace your fingers. Bend your elbows. Bring your forearms, elbows as close together as they can be. Then slide your forearms and hands a little bit away from your legs. As we do this action with the forearms, the armpits still press gently toward the hips so that the neck is not crowded. So here, what happens if you try that same movement, arching the ribcage and rounding the ribcage? Notice how the position of the arms may contribute to make the movement a little bit different. And this may reveal some areas of tension. It may help release and dissolve some of that tension. We're trying to enhance circulation so that we don't over tighten anything, we don't overstretch anything. And when you are ready, pause. Change the interlace of your fingers so that your other thumb is on the outside. And try to move your forearms while keeping them together into circles of different sizes. So now this is asking your shoulder blades and upper back to move in a slightly different way from before. Notice how you're breathing, remember your smile. Practice is taking care of yourself, going the opposite direction, exploring what are the options that you have for movement in this position. Nothing is forced. And when you are ready, pause. Release the hands, press the arms on the floor. Take a moment here. So we have moved a little bit the cervical spine, the neck, the thoracic spine, the rib cage, the spine in the rib cage. Now we'll direct some movement to the lumbar spine, the lower back. So here we'll try this idea. Maybe with the elbows off to the side. Try to bring the soles of your feet together, knees apart. And here, try to notice if your hips, if your pelvis is level, if the distance between each hip and the floor is the same. And there we'll try to move the top of the hip bones toward the floor a little bit to gently round the lower back, releasing tension from the lower back and creating a gentle firmness in the abdominal area. Nothing is forced. This is happening from the movement. And then move the upper hip bone away from the floor, creating a gentle arching of the lower back that is engaging gently the muscles in the lower back, releasing tension from the abdominal area and hip. Try this a few times, feeling the sensations, making the movement smooth, making sure nothing feels forced. There is no agitation. You are massaging the lower abdomen, lower back. Can this movement create a little bit of mobility in the abdominal area to contribute to massage the abdominal organs? Just be curious about that. Then notice that you can allow the rib cage and head to move a little bit more, or you can press down with your shoulder blades and head against the floor to isolate the movement more to the lumbar spine. Your choice. Notice your breath, a gentle smile, the movement is easeful. And pause when your pelvis is neutral. Use your hands and arms to help your thighs come toward each other. Bring your knees together and your feet apart. So in that position, we'll try the same exact movement. So there we'll try, knees are together, feet are apart, maybe even the outer edges of your feet are a little bit away from the floor. And here we'll try rounding the lower back toward the floor, arching the lower back away from the floor. Do this with ease. Make it enjoyable. So it's the same movement. The spine is moving in the same way, rounding and arching gently, but the position of the thighs may be asking slightly different configurations of muscles to engage and release. Feeling the sensation. Nothing is forced. Try to make the movement or keep the movement even on both sides of your pelvis. And pause. Find a place where your pelvis feels neutral and then separate your knees. So here We'll keep the thighs parallel, like you are aligning your heels with your sit bones. You're not trying to touch the sit bones, you're just aligning. And there we'll try the same movement again, rounding the lower back, arching the lower back. Trying that a few times, keeping the movement smooth. Notice what is happening in the abdominal area, lower back. Notice if this is helping release tension from those areas. If it feels like the movement is creating a sensation of pinching or pain, then you might be moving more than you need. Make the movement really easy, enjoyable, and then pause. Notice the effects of asking all the joints in your body to move. Now, roll over onto your right side. We're going to ask our spine to move in a different way that we haven't moved. So we'll bring the right elbow in, not directly on the shoulder, but a little bit away. And when we're here, notice that the arm bone connects to the shoulder blade, and it feels like the arm bone, the bones in the arm, are helping to stabilize your shoulder without creating tension. The shoulder feels stable, strong. Now, feel like your forearm is trying to pull the floor toward you. And notice if by keeping your hips stacked, knees stacked, ankles stacked, and pulling with the forearm, you are creating a nice lengthening of the right side. So your spine is lengthening on one side, shortening on the other. Here, you can bring your left arm parallel to the torso and press with your armpit toward your ankle to enhance the shortening. Nothing is squashed as you enhance the lengthening on the right. Here, make sure that your neck is not tense. You can do figure eights with your neck. Notice how you are breathing. Gentle smile. Feeling the sensation. Nothing is forced. Reverse direction of movement. Like you're curious to get all parts of your body to contribute to what you are doing. Then pause. From here, take the left hand to the floor, bend your knee, and let's switch positions so that you can still be facing the screen. Come onto your left side, stack ankles, knees, hips. Left elbow, not directly under the shoulder, but at an angle, connecting arm bone to shoulder blade. Feel like your forearm is pulling the floor toward you a little bit. And notice that your shoulder is stable. It doesn't feel like it is collapsed in any way. As you pull gently with your forearm toward the hip, you feel the lengthening on the side of your torso. You notice the shortening on this other side now. You can bring your right arm parallel to the torso. Press with your armpit toward the hip. Notice how this feels. And you can do figure eights with your neck. Nothing is forced, making this as enjoyable as it can be. Keep that stability of your shoulder. It will help strengthen your muscles and your bones. Go in the opposite direction. And when you're ready, pause. Use your right hand on the floor. Bend your knees. Bring them to point forward. And then lower your left torso to the floor. Use the left hand or arm to support your head and feel like your torso is really trying to remain long, like your tailbone is reaching opposite the crown of your head. Your forehead is not coming forward. Take your right hand over your navel. From the navel, slowly turn. The navel turns toward the ceiling, and the lower ribs turn. Then the breastbone turns. Then the collarbones turn. Then the neck can turn and the head can turn. It's not the arm turning the torso, it's the torso turning itself. So that it is an active action for the muscles along your spine. We're asking the spine to do this other kind of movement of rotation of the spine so that we really try to get all the joints to move in all their natural range of action. Notice how you are breathing here. Keep your smile. From your navel, slowly start returning. And notice that when you start from the navel, that helps create a gentle firmness. Continue from the ribcage, then from your breast, then from your collarbones and your shoulders. Here, if you wish, you can be roll to your back, or you can once again get your head over to the opposite side so that you are resting on your right torso, bend your knees, thighs are stacked. Use the right hand or arm to support your head. Your neck feels long, your torso feels long, you're trying to lengthen. You can press the thighs together and toward the floor. Left hand over the navel, torso long from the navel. Turn the navel toward the ceiling. Then the lower ribs turn. Then the breastbone turns. Then the collarbones turn. Then the neck can turn and the head can turn. Notice how this feels on the side. If you feel that the right side of your waist is collapsing on the floor, notice if you can reach away from your left shoulder with your left hip a little bit. Notice the effect of asking your spine to rotate in this opposite direction. And then from your navel, start gradually returning so that we are really trying to train ourselves to move our spine sequentially. Then roll into your back. Some of us we find it useful to place something under the knees so that your lower back can be a little bit more relaxed. It's your choice. It can be a cushion under your knees. And let your body relax. Notice, adjust your shoulders so that your neck feels spacious. Notice if palms of the hands facing down or up makes any difference to the level of relaxation for you. Notice if your feet a little bit wider maybe as wide as your hips or wider, may have any effect on your inner thighs. Close your eyes. Let your forehead soften. Let your eyebrows soften. Feel your eyelids softening, and with them your eyes sinking. Invite your temples to soften, and from there your cheeks, your jaw relaxing, lips, tongue, mouth soft. Consider paying attention to your natural breath. Notice what moves as you are breathing, but don't control your breath. Let whatever is happening, let it come, let it go. Just watching, not having to add a comment or story or opinion, just feeling everything, allowing this moment to be as it is. Stay observing your breath, feeling your breath, feeling the air that comes in through your nose, that flows out through your nose. Notice how efficient and effortless your natural breath is. At this point, consider giving thanks for having the time and the desire to practice. And consider if it makes sense for you to give thanks for all the people who are making it possible for us to have what we are enjoying, what we are benefiting from, like electricity, water, sewage services, garbage removal, all the people who work in healthcare looking after other people, researchers who are searching for ways to prevent disease. I think if it makes sense to give thanks for the people who work in the markets and stores that offer the supplies that we need. Appreciate how it feels to give thanks. When you are slowly, find your way up to sitting. Find your way up to sitting. I hope that you enjoyed this practice and that you found it beneficial. Thank you for joining me. Remember that at the end of practice, when we say namaste, we are honoring the tradition of yoga coming from India and the beautiful gesture of recognizing that all of us are deep inside very much alike, very much the same. Namaste.